Hello, Reiki Cafe community. I am back once again, Isabel Wells here for today's coffee conversation, which I am so excited about. We are going over the psychology of the chakras. And if you know me, you know that I absolutely love all things science, psychology, chakras, energy work, healing, Reiki, all the things. And so today's conversation is going to tie all of those concepts together. But before we even get started, I want to know where you're watching from, what you're drinking today. I have just lemon water today because I already had my cup of coffee this morning, but I'm having it in my good cup of Reiki cup, which is just such a fun way to start the day. So let me know what you're drinking, and bonus points if you're drinking it from a ReikiCafe University mug, because we love to see all of those in our community. If you don't have your mug yet and you want to get one, I will pop the link in the comments for our merchandise shop. We have so many amazing things in there that I actually got to help design, it's so cool to be able to see these things that I created be worn or have drinks in them or things like that. So we've got water bottles and coffee mugs, and what else do we have? We have shirts, and we have something else. We have lots of things in this shop. So if you're interested in getting some Reiki themed merchandise, some chakra themed merchandise, a water bottle, any of the things, let me know. And that is, yes, Ross says, don't have one yet, need to get one. Link is in the comments. So definitely grab one, because it just makes me so happy when I get to wake up in the morning and I have my cup of coffee in my ReikiCafe University mug. It's just such a good way to wake up. One of the best things that I do with it is I infuse the cup actually with Reiki. So while I'm drinking from my good cup of Reiki mug, I'm actually drinking a good cup of Reiki. So fun things you can do to bring Reiki into your daily life. Let's see, we have Ross with his green tea. Amazing, love green tea. Oh, watching from the UK with a glass of lemonade. Lee, where in the UK are you, if you feel comfortable sharing? I'm going to be up in London for 2 months next year. I'm really looking forward to it, hoping to maybe meet with some community members while I'm up there. Let's see, Victor from Ontario, drinking coffee. Love it. Any particular kind of coffee, or just a nice black cup of coffee? My brother drinks black coffee all the time, and I genuinely don't understand it. I cannot. I feel like coffee to me is a transportation device for the milk and the caffeine. I am not someone who can just pick up a cup of black coffee. Amazing. So excited for today's chat. I have just been loving this month because I've gotten to see you guys so much and connect with you guys. And oh, dark roast fair trade with almond milk. Beautiful. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. But I've gotten to connect with you guys so much, and it's just been so amazing. Oh, hey, Rachel. Hello. Rachel from Chipping Norton, UK, and drinking water in the sunshine. Yes, soak up the sunshine. Melissa from Pennsylvania. Wow, we have a fairly international crowd today. That's exciting. Amazing. Yeah, it is nice and sunny. Very nice where I am. I'm down in Tennessee, so deep south, and it's usually in the 80s, 90s by this time of year, and it's been holding steady in the upper 70s, which if you know me, you know that I'm the crazy person who goes to Alaska in the middle of winter. So I love it when it's cold and chilly, and I love the rain and I love the snow. And so the fact that it's only 70 in the middle of summer, or almost summer, I suppose, is fine with me. Beautiful. So I would love to know, before we even dive in, when I say psychology of the chakras, when I talk about viewing the chakras through a psychological lens, what comes to mind? What do you think of when I say the psychology of the chakras? I would love to know in the comments. Oh, and Lee says in Lowestoft in the Suffolk coast, about 90 miles from London. Beautiful. I'm thinking about, because we have an amazing amount of people in the UK in the Reiki Cafe community, and I'm thinking about maybe organizing a meetup or two while I'm there next year. So if you're interested in maybe having a Reiki Cafe University meetup or workshop or something like that in London next year, let me know. I think that would be fun. But yeah, let me know in the comments what comes to mind when I say psychology of the chakras. Any guesses? I know we have a bit of a lag here between Facebook and YouTube. So for me, when I think about the psychology of the chakras, what I really mean is our ability to understand the chakras, not just as energetic concepts, right? Energy centers in our body that are constantly moving and shifting our energy, but how we can really view the chakras as frameworks for our psychology and our mental health, not just our energetic health. Okay, so yeah, psychology to me often turns my mind to mental health, work-life balance, how to handle life's challenges, and resiliency. Yeah, kinetic and potential energy, thermodynamics, love it. All of these things are so important when we're talking about the chakras, because I think there's a tendency in the spiritual community to focus on the chakras as energy centers, right? These energy centers that we know and love, that we've spent the last couple of weeks talking about in ReikiCafe University, and that all of our courses are based on, because they really do have a wealth of knowledge. And when they were first brought into the world in the Hindu and Vedic cultures and religions, they were seen as these energetic constructs. They were seen as these elements of our being that really determined who we are, how we functioned, etc. But what's fascinating about the chakras is that when I say to you, are we feeling anxious? Your mind, if you know the chakras, will immediately go to root chakra. Maybe you're feeling ungrounded. Maybe there's a limiting belief, these kinds of things. But what's fascinating about that is when we talk about limiting beliefs, when we talk about anxiety, when we talk about our subconscious mind, these are things that exist not only in our energetic imprint, right? Not only things that impact the flow of our root chakra, but they also very much exist in our psychology. And so when we think about the 7 main chakras, because of course there are hundreds, right? When we think about the 7 main chakras, I really see them as these frameworks, these sections of our life. So rather than seeing them as this line that they're often depicted as, in my mind, we can also see them almost as a wheel or slices of a pie, where each chakra is a slice of that pie that makes up the totality of our life and of our existence. And when we start to think of the chakras this way, it starts to make a lot more sense why they're so important to work within our healing. Because if we have a slice of pie that have been eaten, if you will, that is empty, then obviously our life, our entire life, is going to be out of balance. It's going to be imbalanced. And so when we look at the chakras and we say, oh, your solar plexus is feeling out of whack, when we're in a Reiki session, say, and we're working on a client and we notice that their solar plexus is a little more dim, or that maybe they have a cord attached to it, or whatever it may be, we can look at the chakra as this energetic construct of, we need to clear it, we need to make sure it's spinning, we need to make sure the energy is flowing, we need to make sure that any cords that are negative are released, that kind of thing. We need healing on an energetic level. But then we can take that information, we can take this understanding that we have as Reiki practitioners with our ability to read energy and sense energy and channel energy. We can take this information and then say, what does that mean for the totality of this person's being? If their solar plexus is impacted, we're looking at things like a lack of confidence, self-doubt, an inability to set boundaries, people-pleasing. And what do all of those things have in common? They're typically rooted in this core belief that this person is not enough, that they aren't lovable, that they aren't worthy, that they are wrong. And so suddenly we have this really in-depth picture of our client or ourselves, whoever we're working on, just by noticing that their chakra is imbalanced. Because when we look at each chakra, each one has a specific set of beliefs and tendencies that tend to come out through it. So what I want to start with when we're talking about the psychology of the chakras is really go back to basics. Oh, and it's 11:11 my time. Everybody make a wish. But when we're talking about the chakras, I want to go through these one at a time and look at when we see an imbalance on an energetic level, what does that mean on a psychological level? And I would love to hear from you as I'm doing this. So if you have thoughts, if you have questions, if you're like, oh, this is what I notice in clients or in myself when this, let me know in the chat. I want to have this be a true conversation. So let's start at the very beginning with root chakra, right? Okay. So in root chakra, if I have a client who comes in and their root chakra is very dim or very dull, or it doesn't have a lot of energy flowing to it, they probably have a lot of crown chakra energy, right? Because there's nothing to ground their chakras, ground their energy. All of the energy is just going up and out instead of being balanced down into their body. And so in a Reiki session, I might interpret this as, okay, we need to do Reiki more on their feet. We need to make sure there's no blocks in the legs or the hips and allow the energy to flow through. If you can feel into meridians, it might be a chance to feel into the meridian and notice, is energy flowing backward there? Is there a point that's really clogged, and can we relieve it? So that's what I would see on an energetic level, right? But then if I start looking at the psychology and I start thinking, what is root chakra from a psychological perspective? Root chakra is, if you saw our 5 minutes about the chakras workshop the other night, you saw that connection between Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the chakras. And so root chakra is that base level. When we're thinking about psychology, it's our safety, it's our security, it's our ability to feel like we are safe and stable in the world. Root chakra also has a lot to do with our financial stress or abundance, not because the energy of root chakra equals the energy of finances, but because in a world that is built on capital, in a world that is built on money, money becomes our stability. Money becomes what allows us to feel like we are secure and stable in our lives. And so looking at this person in the root chakra, we might see things like financial stress. We might see things like chronic anxiety. We might see things like panic attacks, etc. Because what we're seeing is, yes, an energetic imbalance, and how that's presenting in the psychology is this lack of safety. And so that core belief, that core limiting belief that we might call it, that is keeping or contributing to that imbalance in their chakra, in root chakra is most likely going to be something like, I am not safe. The world is a dangerous place. There is never enough. These kinds of what we often term victim stories of feeling a sense of lack, a sense of insecurity, feeling like the world is against you. So when I'm working with a client in root chakra, and really any of the chakras, this is something that I believe can help us cultivate compassion in our practices, is understanding that for every imbalance in the chakra, for every symptom that someone is having, for every energetic imbalance, there is some kind of deeply rooted limiting core belief in that person's psychology. And we can all relate to having that deeply rooted limiting belief, right? We can all relate to at some point in our lives having felt like we weren't enough, like we weren't worthy, like we weren't safe, like we weren't lovable, whatever it might be. And so when we can bring this understanding of the fact that, yes, these chakras do work on an energetic level, but they also impact and are impacted by our psychology, it lets us bring in this compassion for our client, understanding that at the heart of an imbalanced chakra, whether you see it as a cause or a result, either way, at the root of an imbalanced chakra is a core limiting belief, is a psychological wound that has yet to be healed. And so as a practitioner, we can use this to develop compassion. And then we can use this to develop hope and say, yes, there is a wound here that didn't heal. And again, this applies to yourself, or if you're working with clients, it goes both ways. But we can look at it and we can say, yes, there's a wound here that needs healing. There is something here that hasn't yet been fully developed, but that gives us an opportunity to heal it. It gives us an opportunity to bring in that light, bring in that love, bring in that healing, so that this person or myself can become the most fulfilled, healed, whole version of myself, right? So root chakra, we have this core belief of I am not safe, there's not enough, I'm vulnerable, being vulnerable is wrong, these kinds of things, these beliefs that have to do with our fundamental safety in the world around us. So let me know in the comments, is your root chakra a source of psychological distress for you right now? And what I mean by that is, do you have a core limiting belief of one of the ones that I just said or something similar? Does that resonate for you? And if so, what's that core belief that's hanging out in your root chakra that's keeping you stuck, that's keeping you feeling safe or panicked or anxious? Let me know in the comments. So then we move on to sacral chakra, okay? And in sacral chakra is, of course, our center of creativity and passion and sensuality and all of these things. So someone comes in with an imbalanced sacral chakra. We, of course, do all the energetic things. We make sure, are the chakras communicating, right? Because sacral chakra, if we're going bottom up, is one of the first instances where we can see if the chakras are connected, if sacral is talking with root and if sacral is talking with solar. And so when we have this energetic information, then we can say, what's going on in their psychology, what's happening in the human aspect of them, right? That's a great way of explaining this. We have the spiritual side of our chakras, the energetic side of our chakras, and then we have the human side, the psychological side of our chakras. So yes, we can see their energy is imbalanced. We know how to work with that as Reiki practitioners, but can we develop an awareness of what's happening in their human self because of their imbalanced chakra? And so in sacral chakra is really about our joy of living, our ability to experience pleasure in the act of being alive, right? So the ability to use our senses, the ability to create, the ability to manifest, the safety of our inner child, right? So when we're talking about these core beliefs that show up in sacral chakra, what we're really looking at are beliefs like, I'm not creative, or I am not able, I'm not imaginative. That's one I hear all the time. I don't have an imagination, right? I hear that all the time in people with imbalanced sacral chakras. And what this really is, when we look at beliefs like, I am not imaginative or I'm not creative, what this is a quote unquote death of our inner child. Okay, so not that our inner child has actually died, but that at some point we have separated from it. We have stopped developing. Our inner child has gotten stuck at some point in our lives. And that creativity, that imagination, that sense of play and fun that we associate with childhood was stopped. I think we can all relate to this idea and this memory of that one moment where we stopped being a kid, right? For me, I remember when I was 13, my parents had twins. So I was 13 years old with these newborn babies in the house. And I remember the first day that the twins came home, I was laying on the couch and I had spent all day cleaning the entire house because I knew my mom was coming home from the hospital and I wanted everything to be so perfect and clean. And I didn't want her to have to stress about it. And I remember the first night that they came home, I was laying on the couch. We had finally gotten the twins to bed. And my mom and dad were so tired. They were laying on the couch. They were all talking. And I just had this realization of what I had in my childhood experiences are done. This is a new phase of being. This is a new phase of more responsibilities and helping take care of the little ones and cleaning and all of these things, right? So for me, when I think about that moment where my inner child, where my creativity, where my connection to my inner child self was separated, is that moment. And so I think we can all relate to this idea. And so when we hear people say, I'm not creative, I'm not imaginative, what we're looking for then is this wound that was created at the moment we stopped being a child, at the moment that we separated from our childhood and decided that we needed to be responsible, we needed to be logical and in control, and we needed to have that adulthood so that we could be protected. The other things that you're going to see in sacral chakra are a lot of limiting beliefs around sexuality and sensuality, right? So if there are any limiting beliefs in that of I'm not a sexual creature, or it's bad to have a sexual relationship, things like this, that's also going to be a sacral chakra imbalance, because what we've done is we've taken these beliefs that were often given, again, as children, about the morality of sexuality and we internalize them and they become our truth. But the problem with these limiting beliefs is that when we hold on to them so strongly, they become our worldview. They become the container in which we allow our life to be filled up, right? And so we're not going to allow ourselves to have experiences outside of these limiting beliefs because in our mind, they don't fit that container that we've decided the world should fit in. So these kind of limiting beliefs are what we're looking at when we're in sacral chakra. Limiting beliefs about imagination and creativity that connect to our inner child. Limiting beliefs about the morality of things like sensuality, sexuality, and pleasure, even if that pleasure is just enjoying being alive, enjoying using our 5 physical senses, right? Allowing ourselves to be in the moment and enjoy the feeling of our clothes on our body, the ability to see the wind in the tree in front of us, right? Limiting beliefs around it's bad to enjoy things. That's also a big one in sacral chakra. Then we have things around manifestation, which start to bleed over into solar plexus, but things like it's bad to want more, it's bad to want better, it's bad to have dreams, it's bad to et cetera, et cetera. Those it's bad to are often sacral chakra beliefs because they have to do with our belief about if experiencing pleasure in life is good or bad, right? So I'm going to take a moment and read through these comments because you guys are saying amazing things here. So fellow worker said 100% money, security, safety, limiting beliefs in root chakra. Ross said most likely about financial instability, limiting belief that I don't deserve money. That's such an interesting one because it's bridging that gap between root chakra and solar plexus, right? Which we'll get to in a second, because root chakra is very much that financial security, whereas solar plexus is this question of, do I deserve things? And so it sounds like we have an interesting bridge there. And I'm curious to see, Ross, if you feel into, is your energy skipping over your sacral chakra? Because it's interesting that we have this bridge between root chakra going right into solar plexus instead of coming through that ability to create, to manifest, to connect with our inspiration, our creativity, our imagination, our passion, that kind of womb of our being, right? I'm wondering if there's an energy skip there going over your sacral chakra. Feel into that. Okay, and then Lee said, I've been working on the chakras doing scan and healing, and then I do tarot on the ones that still needed attention. Fantastic. And Rachel said that makes total sense. When working with my daughter, her issues were down to not feeling safe. This affected her belief in herself. It was always the root. Absolutely. And I think, again, this is something where if you came to our 5 myths about the chakras webinar the other night, and I'll put that link in the comments here in a little bit. If you want to watch the replay, is we talked about how root chakra really is the beginning and end of true healing because it is the source of all the rest of our beliefs about ourselves, others, and the world around us. It is so important. So let me know in the comments, where's sacral chakra at for you? Do we have limiting beliefs or fears around imagination, creativity, inner child, our ability to, or the morality of taking pleasure in life? Where are we at in sacral chakra? Let me know. So then we move on to solar plexus. Okay. And I think solar plexus is one of those chakras where in clients that I work with, obviously I can't say every person in the world, but every client I have worked with has an imbalanced solar plexus. And this is something that I think about all the time because what's fascinating about solar plexus is this center of our beliefs around our worthiness, whether we deserve things, if we are enough, if we are worthy to connect with others, if we're worthy to be seen, if we're safe to be seen, right? These kind of beliefs. And what's fascinating about an imbalanced solar plexus is that when someone is struggling with feelings of self-doubt, of not being enough, etc., they're going to feel like other people are better than them. They're going to feel like other people have everything figured out, that other people are worthy and I'm not. These kinds of thoughts, when really everybody is having those thoughts, right? Everybody is struggling with not feeling like they're enough, not feeling like they're worthy, because we live in a society that's constantly pushing us to be better. We're coming out of generations where limiting beliefs were the only beliefs, right? Where intense psychological wounds were the norm. And so we have this culture, this society that's being raised to feel like they aren't enough. Because if you don't feel like you're enough, then you're constantly pushing to be better. And in a society that is built on cosmetics and TV and workout programs and all of these self-help, self-help books is a huge industry right now. I think we spend a couple $1 billion every year in the self-help industry. So when we look at this, those industries, those things would not exist if we let people believe that they're enough, right? If we grew up in a society where we were told that you are enough exactly as you are, which you are, if we grew up in a society that allowed us to believe that we are worthy to receive our deepest desires, which you are, all of these things, right? Then, half the market would be gone. We wouldn't need gyms because we would be able to exercise the way our bodies wanted to. We wouldn't need medications and supplements and things like that for day-to-day life because we would be able and confident knowing that we are okay. We are our own version of normal. We wouldn't need cosmetics and commercials and things like this because we wouldn't feel like there was something missing inside of us. And so our society kind of thrives on an imbalanced solar plexus. So let's say a client comes to me, they have an imbalanced solar plexus. I'm of course going to be looking for some kind of energetic cord here, right? Cords love solar plexus because it really is the source of our personal power. And so I'm going to be looking at, are there cords? Is there an open gateway to someone else that I have a hard time saying no to, that I can't set boundaries with, that takes advantage of my energy? Those are all things that show up in solar plexus. And when we look at why are those things there? Why is solar plexus the one that's always imbalanced or that always has a cord? Then we start looking at, because we don't feel like we are worthy to say no, because we don't feel like we deserve to live the life of our dreams, because we don't feel like we are enough. And so we're going to do whatever we can to try and fill that hole that we think is inside of us. So to me, solar plexus is one of those chakras that I think everybody can relate to, this feeling of, I'm not enough. I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy of whatever it is, of living your dreams, of pursuing your passion, of feeling safe, right? And this is where the conversation gets really interesting around psychology of the chakras, because while we talk about how root is the beginning and end of all healing, we also have to have this work in solar plexus of knowing that we are worthy to heal. Because if we have this belief that I'm not worthy to heal, I'm not worthy to be healthy, I'm not worthy to be seen, I'm not worthy to be vibrant, whatever that limiting belief is, then any work we do in root chakra around feeling safe, around healing, around being stable and secure and clear is just going to go back to that limiting belief of, but I don't deserve it in the first place. Okay. So really looking at, what are our limiting beliefs here? And this is why solar plexus is so powerful, because almost everyone has some kind of, or had at one point in their life, some kind of limiting belief in their solar plexus, some kind of belief about their worthiness, their deservingness, or lack thereof. And when we have those beliefs, oftentimes it leads us to feel like we are not worthy of healing. We are not worthy of health. We are not worthy of feeling better. And so we stay stuck. And so if you're in this cycle of feeling like you want to heal and then you just end up right back where you are, maybe it's time to look at your solar plexus and say, am I keeping myself in this cycle, not consciously, but on an unconscious level, because I don't feel worthy to heal. I don't feel worthy for change. I don't feel like I deserve to live a better life. How's that landing? Let me know in the comments. Rachel said before lockdown, I had the same with solar plexus, but since we've come out of lockdown, it's been throat. Absolutely. Throat is fascinating, and we'll get to it in just a second, especially its connection with solar plexus. So then we move up and we come to heart chakra. Heart chakra, I think, took a beating during lockdown because when we think about, even just the act of physically hugging someone, it is literally a heart-to-heart connection. Heart chakra thrives on connection and compassion and relationships and all of these things. So if someone comes in to my practice and I'm noticing an imbalance in their heart chakra, often what I'll see is a wall, an energetic wall that stops connections. And often this goes back to root chakra's psychological limiting belief of I'm not safe. It's not safe to connect with people. And solar plexus psychological limiting belief of I don't deserve to connect with people. I don't deserve to be seen. I'm not enough and people will hate me, leave me, etc., if I try to connect with them. And so this creates a wall in our heart chakra. And so we can do the energetic work, right, of working on opening up that heart, making the energy move down the arms. That's something I see a lot in heart chakra, is that the energy just becomes stuck right in the chest and it's not flowing down the arms and out the hands. So can we work on an energetic level to keep things moving? But then we also bring it to the human level. How is this impacting their day-to-day life? How is this impacting how they see themselves, others, in the world around them? And in heart chakra, it's really this belief of, I'm not lovable. I am not lovable. And that's a hard belief to carry around, right? And I think so many of us, especially, what's fascinating is I see this limiting belief a lot in Reiki practitioners. People who spend their lives in the healing arts often have this feeling that they aren't lovable, that they aren't worthy of receiving, but that all they have is giving. All I have is my ability to heal others. The only good thing about me is that I can help people. That pushing our energy out instead of allowing energy to come in is a big thing with people in the healing arts. And to me, that is all rooted in heart chakra. It has its feet in solar plexus, right? Of that feeling of worthiness to receive. But when we talk about the actual act of receiving and our ability to receive, that becomes heart chakra. And so if we have beliefs about the only good thing about me is my ability to help other people, the best thing about me is that I'm a healer, right? And we also have this belief of, at the core of it, I'm not lovable. Other people will not like me. I am not enough for other people. That is a heart chakra limiting belief. And so then we need to look at, where in your life were you taught that you aren't lovable? Where in your life were you taught that love isn't an option for you? I had a client once who was telling me that she didn't understand how to connect with her heart chakra because she had never in her life been shown what love was supposed to look like. And so heart chakra is a powerful thing, because when we think about all of the connections that we make between Reiki and love, or the divine energy and love and light and all of these things, we really understand that just like heart chakra is the center of our chakras, right? With 3 above and 3 below, it's also the center of our being. Love is the center of who we are as human beings. And so when we do not have the ability, or we feel like we don't have the ability to love, then it gets rooted in our heart chakra. My brother and I both had some really interesting experiences when we were children, and we talk about them a lot. And one of the things that he talks to me about is that he feels like he can't love the way that other people love. He can't experience that kind of loving relationship the way that other people seem to. And it's a fascinating conversation, because when we have these deep wounds that tell us that we aren't lovable, or that love is an option, or that love is painful, right? How many times have we heard that in a country song, right? Love is painful, love is pain, love is a battlefield, love is war, all of these things. When we internalize these messages, who would want to fall in love if it's inevitably painful? If it truly is a battlefield, if we're going to get hurt, why would you keep putting yourself in a position to love? And so this is why so many people are walking around with guarded heart chakras, because we've been taught again and again and again that love isn't safe, that we aren't lovable, and even if we were, other people wouldn't love us anyway. And so this is where we start looking at, where were we taught that? Why were we taught that? And bringing in that realization that whoever taught us those things taught it from their own wounding, not because it had anything to do with us. Not because we're actually unlovable, but because the person who taught us that we were feels unlovable in themselves, right? And so this is where, when we talk about, programming and society and all of these things, and we like to place the emphasis on other people, or society teaches us this, or we were programmed this way. Yes, all of that is true. And also we bring in that compassion, again, hello heart chakra, bringing in that compassion of, yes, all of that is true. And also the reason that we're taught these things, the reason that we were programmed this way, is because everyone is walking wounded, right? And so can we help heal the world by first healing ourselves, by doing the work to come in, look at these core limiting beliefs that we're talking about, do the energetic healing, and rewire our thoughts so that we can come out on the other side as a whole, healed, empowered person. So then we come to the throat chakra, and throat chakra is this, I always like to call it the first area of true manifestation, because words are really the first manifestation of our energy, right? Words are where our energy enters in. Maybe it comes through our solar plexus, maybe it comes through our crown chakra, but it comes out in our words, and words have power, right? But because words have power, we are often left feeling, if we don't have a strong solar plexus, if we don't feel safe to speak our truth, if we don't feel like we can connect to other people, we're often found swallowing our words, keeping our truth inside, holding ourselves in this space of, I can't speak up for myself because I'm going to get hurt, because I'm going to be wrong. That's a big one in throat chakra, is I'm wrong. Whatever I say, it's wrong. Whatever I believe, it's wrong. Whatever I think, it's wrong. I'm not important. I'm not important enough to speak my truth. Whatever I think, it's going to be wrong for other people, so I might as well just keep it to myself. These are big ones in throat chakra. And I find that a lot of people who work with their hands have throat chakra imbalances, because what we do then is we compensate for not being able to bring things into the world through our words, through our voice, with bringing things into the world through our hands. Let me know if that resonates, because hello, Reiki practitioners. Right? When we're Reiki practitioners, we are working with our hands and not a lot with our mouths, until we come into the art of coaching and understanding the psychology of the chakras, like you guys are doing by listening to this, right? So let me know in the comments, where's your throat chakra at? What's the limiting belief that's impacting your throat chakra right now, right? And then we go to third eye, and third eye and crown, I often kind of see together when we're talking about imbalances, because while third eye is more of the physical level of spirituality, of what are my spiritual gifts? Can I trust my intuition? Am I able to meditate or shamanic journey or see Reiki or whatever it is? Crown chakra is the spiritual version of spirituality, right? The energetic version of spirituality of, am I connected to the divine? Am I open to everything that the all that is energy of the universe, of God, of source, of spirit, whatever you call it, has to offer? And so when a client comes in with these imbalances, especially in their third eye, what I am immediately thinking is, where's the fear? Right? We have so much fear around spirituality, around our spiritual gifts, around clairvoyance, around our guides, around connecting with energy. There's so much fear, again, in our society, because we are wounded from religion, quite frankly. But when we're looking at third eye, we're looking at, what are we afraid of? Why are we afraid of embracing our spirituality? Why are we afraid of our true nature as spiritual beings? And so that limiting belief is often, it's not safe to see, as in spiritual seeing, or it's not safe to play with energy. It's not safe outside of the physical realm. When we start looking outside of the physical into the spiritual, it's not safe. And this is a different kind of safety than root chakra. This kind of safety is more metaphysical. It's more rooted in how we feel about our ability to perceive. It's rooted in, again, solar plexus, root chakra, and sacral chakra. This is why we talk about our lower chakras so much. But third eye is very much this fear that we're doing something wrong, that what we're seeing is wrong, that what we're perceiving is wrong, that it's bad, that we're crazy. It's this fear for our soul in third eye. Whereas the fear that we see in root chakra is fear for our physical selves. But fear in the third eye chakra is very much fear for our soul, fear for our energy. Are we doing something wrong? Are we crazy? Are we, from Christianity, are we going to be damned? Right? These kinds of things. Whereas in crown chakra, when we're disconnected, then maybe it's beliefs that we were abandoned, that we weren't enough for the divine to notice us. A lot of people who have really closed off crown chakras had an experience at some point in their life that taught them that life isn't fair, that God's not going to save them, that the universe doesn't pay attention to people like me. These kinds of thoughts are really big in crown chakra. And so there's been a lot of a little bit of doom and gloom in this coffee conversation, right? Because when we're talking about psychology, when we're talking about healing, we have to be willing to look at the uncomfortable parts. We have to be willing to look at the darker side. Again, like I said at the very beginning of this, because when we can see a wound that hasn't been healed, what we can also see is an opportunity to evolve, to advance, to grow into the most fulfilled, highest, best, most empowered version of ourselves. And so on the flip side, when we're looking at all of these chakras, they also have expanding beliefs, right? So just like we've been talking about the limiting beliefs in the chakras, all of the chakras have expansive beliefs, healed beliefs, whole beliefs. I call them empowering beliefs, right? And so in root chakra, we have this empowering belief of I am safe, I am secure, I am abundant. These are all things in root chakra, right? And so when you're thinking about what would my empowered belief be, and this is a fantastic exercise, right? This is a fantastic exercise to do, is get out a notebook, write down all of the limiting beliefs that you just identified while you were listening to this, while you were thinking about what's the psychology of my chakra and what's the limiting belief that's keeping it there. Write those all down, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at what's the opposite of that to find our empowering belief, right? So in root chakra, that empowering belief is I am safe, I am secure, I am abundant. All of these things. Sacral chakra, I'm creative, I'm imaginative, I'm passionate, I am inspired, right? My inner child and I are one, these kinds of beliefs. Solar plexus, I am enough, I am worthy, I deserve everything that I can dream of. I know who I am and what I want. These are great empowering beliefs. Heart chakra, I am connected, I am loving, I am lovable. I am enough, I am safe in relationships. I am surrounded by people who I love and who love me. Throat chakra, I can speak my truth. I can say no when I need to. I'm able to speak with empowerment and listen with compassion. It's safe to speak my truth. Third eye chakra, I can see and perceive the spiritual and the physical. I am connected with my spirituality. I am in tune with and trusting my intuition. Crown chakra, I am one with the divine. I am connected to God. I am part of something bigger than myself, right? All of these kinds of beliefs are going to be so empowering. And so when we're talking about the psychology of the chakras, yes, we work through our limiting beliefs. Yes, we do the energetic work. Yes, we come through and we rewire our subconscious patterns. And we also work on what can we put in its place? What can we fill that void with? And that's where our empowering beliefs come to play. So let me know in the comments, what is your empowering belief? Which chakra did you resonate most with when we were talking about the psychology of the chakras? Which one feels like it is the most constricted, the most imbalanced, the most in need of attention and care? What is the current limiting belief that you have? And what is your new empowering belief? And then you can take that empowering belief, write it on a sticky note, put it on your fridge, put it on your bathroom mirror, put it on the dashboard of your car, set it as a reminder on your phone. Whatever you need to do to get this empowering belief in front of your mind again and again and again. We have to be exposed to material 7 times before it really starts to sink in. And even more than that before it becomes part of our subconscious programming. And so when we're talking about changing our beliefs, when we're talking about approaching the chakras through a psychological lens, then we're taking a holistic picture of healing. We're talking about, let's do the energetic work, right? Let's do our self-Reiki. Let's go see a practitioner. Let's make sure that we're doing activating actions for our chakras, going out in the grass for our root, doing some inner child work, maybe painting for our sacral chakra, having a fire ceremony for our solar plexus, these kinds of things. Then let's make sure we're doing the work to dissolve our limiting beliefs. If you don't know how to do that, stay tuned. I have an option for you. But asking yourself questions of, why do I believe this? When was the first time I remember feeling like this? Who taught me this? And why? Right? Then we're going to be doing the work of let's rewire. Let's put in new pathways. Let's find the more expansive, the more true belief that we can place into our psychology. Those are your empowering beliefs. So let me know in the comments, what is your empowering belief that you're walking away from today's call with? What is the phrase, the I am statement that you're going to write on a piece of paper and take with you throughout the day so that you can read it again and again and again? Because when we can approach healing on this holistic level, when we can see the chakras not just as energetics in our body, not just as energetic centers that show us where cords are, or that can collect spiritual dust, as I call it, or that have cords attached to them, or whatever we are seeing when we're working with the chakras. We can also see them as psychological flags, psychological frameworks that allow us to understand where we're stuck in our human aspect, where we're stuck in our healing. And when we can look at the chakras in this holistic perspective, both the human and the spiritual, aka both the psychological and the energetic presentations of the chakras, then we're going to be able to approach the chakras with an empowered mindset, with a holistic perspective that's going to allow for true healing, because we're not just working on one level. We are multi-layered beings, and healing has to happen on all levels, right? So let me know in the comments, what are you walking away with from today's call? What was your top takeaway? What do you think now about the psychology of the chakras? And I want to invite you, if you are stuck feeling anxious, financially insecure, full of fear, or lacking clarity, right, in your root chakra, if you have that core belief of, I'm not safe, or maybe you're feeling uninspired, your creativity is turned off, and you have no passion left for life in your sacral chakra, or maybe you know that your inner child is feeling wounded. Maybe you're feeling insecure, unworthy, you can't say no, you say yes when you really mean no. You're people pleasing and you can't show up for yourself in solar plexus, that core belief of I'm not enough, I'm not worthy. Maybe you feel like there's a wall between you and other people. Maybe you feel disconnected and isolated. Heaven knows I've been there, and heaven knows so many other people felt like that throughout lockdown, right? So if you're still feeling those feelings in your heart chakra and having that belief of I'm not enough, I'm not lovable, I can't love, maybe you can't speak up for yourself, or you're holding a frog in your throat, right? You have that lump in your throat, you're biting your tongue, you're stifling your words. Maybe you're struggling to connect with your intuition or with the divine, or you're not sure about your spiritual gifts. All of these things that we experience, right? That we're not alone in. All of these symptoms that are part of healing and balancing our chakras and part of the range of experiences we can have in human life. Every single one of these has everything to do with your chakras. And when we can approach them on multiple levels, like we've been talking about all day today and all month in ReikiCafe University, when we can approach them with energy work, with psychological techniques, with coaching, with limiting belief work, with making sure our nutrition is where it needs to be, with exercising, with moving our bodies, with loving ourselves, with all of these things, that's where true healing occurs. And so if you're like, that's fantastic, and where do I start? I would love to talk with you about, let's get you in something like chakra coaching. Let's get you in a one-on-one session. Let's get you in something that's going to help you have a framework, have a guide to help you through this process. Because just like healing is multi-layered, it's also a multi-step process, and it can be so helpful to have someone walking you through it. So if you want to go to feeling stable, secure, financially abundant, clear in what you want and what your next steps are, passionate, creative, able to manifest, passionate about being alive, able to feel pleasure and inspiration in your life. If you want to be confident in who you are, able to stand up for yourself, say no when you mean no, and set boundaries in a loving but firm way. If you want to be able to connect with the people around you and the world, to not feel isolated, to feel like you are part of something, feeling open and excited to experience those connections, feeling clear in your communication, like you can speak your truth and you can also listen with compassion. If you want to feel confident and connected to your spiritual gifts, to your intuition, feel like you can finally trust the divine again and feel connected to something that's bigger than you, connected to the all that is. If you want those empowering beliefs that you just wrote down to be true, then please, please, please reach out about chakra coaching, reach out about setting up a session, reach out about hopping on a connect call with me, right? So that we can talk about what are you stuck in? Which chakra is in balance? Which limiting belief are you holding on to? What is holding you back? And what is going to help move the needle? What's going to help you get unstuck? What's going to help you finally hit that road to healing so that you can make a change, so that you can get where you want to be? We have so many opportunities to support you, to help you, to witness you, right? That's something that everybody needs, is to be witnessed in their healing. And so let's chat. I just put a link in the comments. I would love to chat with you. Hop on a 15-minute call with me, totally free, no strings attached, and let's just chat. Let's see where you are, what needs healing, what can be healed, and what we can do about it. Let's get you in a chakra coaching program if it's right for you and you're ready to take the steps to healing, right? All of these things. Let's chat. I want to know. And I also want to know, what are your top takeaways? What are your questions from today's coffee conversation? If you couldn't tell, I love talking about stuff like this. So keep the questions coming. Let me know your top takeaways and let's chat. We have another 10 minutes left in this call. So let's make it a conversation. So Rachel said, my aha moment is knowing that I had my first Reiki energy moment in a church when I was a child. For years, I had to keep quiet and I felt detached and lightheaded. Now I know I am seen and heard. Rachel, that's an amazing takeaway. That's fantastic. Very much sacral chakra with that inner child work, right? And also third eye with keeping those experiences stuffed down. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ross Oliver, I am enough and there is no such thing as perfect. I love it. I love it. That is such a beautiful, empowering belief. Absolutely. What else? Let me know. What are your takeaways? What are your empowering beliefs that you're walking away with? What questions do you have about chakra coaching, right? If you're like, can it really help me? Can it actually help me heal? Is it really going to make a difference when I've tried so many other things? Let's talk about it, right? This is why I'm here. This is what I am meant to be doing in this world with you all, is opening up these portals, opening up these doors so that you can make the empowered choice to walk through them and heal. This isn't me saying, oh, I have the answer and you just have to connect with me in order to heal. This is me saying, you have the answers within you. And sometimes we just need someone to open up that door so that we can feel safe enough to walk through it. So let's connect, let's chat, let's book a session, whatever it is. Cheryl said, very interesting and informative chat. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So much fun. Ross said, my voice is valid, my opinion matters, and my guides are here to help me. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's really interesting. That's something that I've been seeing in a lot of my clients and students lately, is a lot of beliefs around our importance, our ability to be heard, our validity, the fact that our opinion matters, all these kinds of things. So if you're struggling with those feelings of I'm not enough, or I'm not important, or my opinions aren't valid, whatever I think is wrong, these kinds of things, know that you're not alone. There's a lot of that going around right now. And the best thing we can do is find a safe container to share those thoughts and feelings, because by doing that, we break that bubble. We burst that wall that's holding us back of not feeling like we're enough, not feeling like we're worthy. And we say, you know what, regardless, this is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm experiencing in my life. And I'm going to break free of that. I'm going to face the fear and say the thing in an environment where I feel safe to do so that I can heal instead of keeping this stuck. Lynn Clark, her takeaway is my soul is not doomed. What a fantastic takeaway. What a powerful takeaway for 11 o'clock in the morning, at least where I am. Lynn, how does it feel to write that down? That seems like it carries a lot of weight. I would love to know how you're feeling after having such a deep aha moment. And again, just like I was talking about with Ross, I think there is such profound healing in having a container in which we can just exist. I don't know if you guys are in the Reiki Cafe community, but I posted a post the other day about where I was a year ago. And a year ago, I was really in some of the hardest weeks of my life. This week, a year ago, I did not get out of bed. And so I posted this post kind of sharing my journey and how I came to the other side. And someone asked me, what was the biggest thing that helped you turn the corner? What was the biggest thing that made a difference in your healing? And my answer to her was, honestly, the thing that made the biggest difference is having a support system where I could just be exactly where I was, where I could talk about all of my limiting beliefs and all of my feelings of unworthiness and all of my depression and my anxiety and all of these things that, like Lynn was saying, all of these things that made me feel like I was doomed, like I was unworthy, like I was wounded, like I was wrong, like I was bad. And I could bring all of these things and also how I was feeling about them. The fact that I couldn't get out of bed for a week and I could just be exactly where I am, that I could just not try and be better, not try and be different, not try and be more spiritual, more holistic, more healed than I was. I could just be, because it was in the being and in having someone holding that space for me that I was finally able to start working my way out. But when we're fighting so hard against what we're feeling, when we're suppressing these things, when we're maybe spiritually bypassing these things, when we're saying, oh, if I were really spiritual, I wouldn't be feeling this way, we're just shoving it deeper and deeper and deeper. And we all need a container in which we can be witnessed, in which we can be seen, and in which we can be given the space to heal, because often it is really hard to create that space yourself. And so no matter where you are in your journey, if you are neck deep in really difficult emotions and situations, or if you're just like, I just feel overwhelmed on a daily basis. I feel frustrated and anxious and overwhelmed, and I don't want to do it anymore. No matter where you are, something like chakra coaching can help. Something like finding a friend to chat with can help, because we'll get you in this one-on-one container, and we will give you space to be where you are so that you can truly evaluate what needs to happen to get me where I need to go. And then we can work together to create that personalized path, to create the steps so that you can finally make progress. You can finally work your way out instead of coming right back to where you started. So please, 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 whether you're interested in chakra coaching or you just want to chat, I would love to chat with you. I love connecting with you guys. Like I said, this is what I'm here to do. So please click that link in the comments, book a call with me, connect with me, and let's chat. Let's give you a space to be witnessed and seen, to show up exactly as you are so that you can create a path to healing that is yours and yours alone, because you deserve it. You are worthy of it. You are enough. You are lovable. You are able to speak your truth. What you have to say is important. You matter. You are whole. You are healed. You are wonderful. All of these things, they are all true. And I want to get you guys to a point where you believe those too. So Lynn said, good, I feel like I've been closeted since 1988 when I first started practicing Reiki. Yes. So Lynn, if you aren't already, join the Reiki Cafe Community Facebook group. You're going to have a community of over 3,000 other Reiki practitioners where you can be yourself, where you can show up in all of your Reiki practitioner nature and all of your woo-woo and all of the everything. Join the Reiki Cafe Community Facebook group on Facebook if you haven't. Let yourself become part of that community. It's amazing when you're able to have people around you that you don't have to feel closeted with, right? Ross, my takeaway, I have a lot of work to do. Don't we all? I think everybody does, and that's okay. It's part of being human, and part of healing is coming to terms with that. Part of healing is saying, yeah, I have a lot of work to do, and I'm ready to do it. Absolutely. Beautiful. So leave any last comments, questions in the chat. And if that's all, I want to thank you for showing up, for being here, for listening, for seeing yourself reflected in some of the things that I said, and for acknowledging where you have room to grow, but also how far you've come and the opportunity for healing that you have. Excuse my dog in the background. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up, for being here, for joining me for this coffee conversation. This has been absolutely fantastic. I hope that you will take that exercise to heart, that you'll create your empowered beliefs, that you will consider hopping on a call with me so that we can take that first step to healing and give you a container where you can truly break the mold and come into your own, the fullest version of who you are. And I hope that you have a fantastic day, a fantastic week, a fantastic year, and a fantastic life. And I will see you guys next time on ReikiCafe University, all the platforms. Sending so much love to each and every one of you. Bye.